Welcome to the world where we fight to the finish, and at the heart of it is one recognizable image. Originators, titans of business, brand architects, respected since 9/7. Sky's the limit and legend behind the logo.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 11 of MMA Talk Canada, here with my good buddy again, Saad Sulman, and today we are breaking down the Ultimate Fighter 17 finale. And this, to be honest with you guys, this is probably one of my favorite cards of the year. It's from the first fight of the night all the way to the main event. It's pretty solid. How about you, Saad? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I'm excited mainly because it's the finale of Tough. This is arguably one of the best seasons they've had in a while. And so I'm pretty excited, especially to see Faber fight. I know how much you love seeing him fight. He's one of your favorite fighters. But at the same time, Uriah Hall and obviously the Miesha Tate fight,
Yep.
To see who's going to be coaching Tough next season.
Exactly. So we'll get started off. We'll get right into it with the first fight. We have Bubba McDaniel versus Gilbert Smith. And these are two fighters who were on the Ultimate Fighter 17 cast. Bubba McDaniel advancing a little further in the competition than Gilbert. Gilbert lost to Luke Barnett. I think I'm pretty sure it was a second round knockout. You can kind of see in the series that he was a little upset with the performance, and he kind of wanted to try harder in that fight. And I think that's really going to get to him. They're going to make him train a little harder. But I still see Bubba McDaniel getting the win here. I'm saying by second or third round TKO. I just think that Bubba McDaniel is a better fighter, and I think he would get the second round TKO. Saad, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I agree with that result. The thing is, you're right. Gilbert Smith only had one fight in the Tough House, as opposed to Bubba, who had actually quite a few chances. The thing is, I don't know about Gilbert. He seems like a half-decent fighter, but nothing he showed in his loss to Luke Barnett suggested to me that he could win this fight. That doesn't mean Bubba is likely to run over him, but a smart bet would be on Bubba. Yes, he did lose to both Calvin and Uriah, but keep in mind, those guys are fighting in the finale. So to lose to those guys isn't such a bad thing. But also keep in mind, the rigors of fighting in the Tough House, that you have to cut weight repeatedly to fight in a few weeks span. Bubba, to his credit, fought 4 times. And although he went 2-2, he does show much promise. Also, given the fact that he had some time off and he trains at Jackson, I think he's poised to do well here. So I think he should win this fight. I'm picking a decision or maybe a third round stoppage.
All right, there you go. Now we're going to the second fight of the main card. We got Travis Browne and Gabriel Gonzaga. Now, Gabriel Gonzaga coming back to the UFC after being cut. I believe he has 2 fights in the UFC since being back, both wins. Just beating Ben Rothwell in his last fight, which is a very good win. And then we've seen Travis Browne just lose to Bigfoot Silva. But before that, he was on a big win streak. That was his first loss against Bigfoot. No shame in that loss because Bigfoot's now fighting for the title now. But I do see Travis Browne winning this fight. I'm pretty sure he win it wherever he wants. He's most likely going to beat him up standing up. I don't see why he would take it to the ground. But if he does, he can TKO him. But I see definitely Travis Browne knocking out Gabriel Gonzaga first round. How about you, Saad?
This fight raises 2 questions. 1, can Gonzaga continue his resurgence in the UFC? And 2, how will Browne react after his first career loss and resulting hamstring injury? Since coming back to the UFC, as you mentioned, Gonzaga has finished both of his fights, most recently submitting Ben Rothwell by guillotine. He said that his focus is back on his jiu-jitsu, which is a great run for his recent success. But I don't know how much his submission prowess is going to help him against Browne. He is the more experienced fighter, but I just think his best days are behind him. Browne is overall a great fighter and has shown much promise up until he got bested by Bigfoot by KO. But in that fight, he seemed to be doing really well until he threw some wild kicks and seemed to hurt his leg. And I think the time off has given him space to reflect. Now the burden of being an undefeated and highly ranked prospect is off his shoulders. I think he's focused on trying to move back up the ladder and back in the top 10. I think Browne wins this fight. As you mentioned, he can win it any way he wants, but his best bet will be to keep it standing, mainly because Gonzaga is known for his jiu-jitsu. But a lot depends on how his leg holds up, because coming back from off-putting for Browne. So I hope he does rebound quite nicely, and I'm thinking he will. So I'm going to pick Browne here.
How do you what way? How do you see it going?
Most likely, I would say knockout, but it's really hard to say depending on where the fight ends up. If it ends up on the ground, I could see Gonzaga pulling off some kind of submission, but Browne is a smart fighter, and obviously he has a lot of power in those hands. He's finished fighters quite easily, and he's actually undefeated for a long time.
Yep.
So I'm thinking he will knock him out, most likely by the second round.
Awesome. Okay, so next fight, we got the beautiful Miesha Tate and the beautiful Kat Zingano. This is the second female fight in UFC, and I'm really looking forward to this one because they're pretty similar in their styles. Kat being a little better, I'm a Muay Thai specialist, and then Miesha having a bit better wrestling. Good jiu-jitsu players as well because Kat Zingano just coming off a win in submission. I believe she has 2 or 3 submission wins and a couple of TKO. But Zingano is undefeated, and Miesha, I think she has 3 losses, but her losses coming to Ronda Rousey and some other people, but they're very high-level competition. I believe Miesha has a bit more experience than Kat, though, and I see Miesha Tate winning this fight. I can't really say how she's going to win it because it's so evenly matched in this fight. I believe they're so similar in their styles, but I do think that Miesha Tate will eke out a close decision win here. And she'll be able to be coach on the Ultimate Fighter with Ronda Rousey. How about you, Saad?
Well, I agree exactly with what you said. I think Tate's going to win here. But just a few points to note. This is the second women's fight in UFC history, and it's guaranteed, and you can take my word for it. It's going to be fight of the night. I don't care who wins. I just know it's going to be exciting. That being said, there are important stakes here for the winner of this fight, as they're going to have a tough coaching gig opposite Ronda Rousey. In the UFC version of the real world, with women and men 135-pound fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say to know too much about Zingano. I know she's undefeated. She's a very well-rounded fighter with plenty of finishes. But I think Tate has been in there with too many of the sport's best and come on top. And mainly, I think the motivation to fight Rousey is going to carry her through into this fight. It's going to be an all-out war, and I think Tate comes out on top.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Kat Zingano and Miesha Tate. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be so closely matched. These girls are going to bring it, and they're hot. So, next fight is Uriah Hall and Kelvin Gastelum. And actually, Saad, I'm going to let you go on this one. You can give it me your prediction first on that one.
Oh, thanks a lot for that one. Yeah, I recently just wrote a piece on this too, so I guess maybe that's why you gave me the go-ahead. This is, as a lot of people know, is the finale of Top 17. Let me just say that this season has been so refreshing. And I'm glad the focus has shifted away from antics and getting drunk to the caliber of fighters and the quality of the fights.
Exactly.
Uriah Hall from the get-go has been known as the tough beast, and rightly so. And he sent all 4 of the fighters that he's fought to the hospital with a broken arm, a brutal head kick knockout, broken orbital bone, and a broken nose. Those fighters are Andy N, Adam Sella, Bubba, McDaniel, and Dylan Andrews, respectively. That just shows you how much power he has. Not to mention being one of the quickest fighters I've ever seen quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning fast kicks and punches. Gastelum, to his credit, has heard it all before. He's been an underdog in every one of his fights and has pulled through. He's the youngest fighter in tough history at 21 years old, turning 21 right when the show started. And yet, he hasn't fought like him, finishing 3 of his fights with 2 submissions and a knockout. He's a tough wrestler, which is arguably the only way I think I can see Uriah losing. But given Uriah's confidence level, working with Chael Sonnen, he said that improved his mindset so much. And I think he's going to pick Gastelum apart and finish.
Yeah, I agree with you exactly, Saad. Uriah Hall will get the win here. I believe that he dominates Kelvin, and Kelvin's very young. Like I said, he's only 21 years old. And after this fight, actually, I see him going down to 170. I believe I heard him tweet something about that, going down to 170, because I believe that's his proper weight class. I believe that, I'm just guessing here, but the 185 thing could just because he was trying out and he got that weight class. But I believe he's way better suited at 170. And with his coach, Mike Dolce, on the Ultimate Fighter, I believe he'll be able to get down there with no problem. So again, Uriah Hall, I'm saying probably TKO second round or a decision win. All right, so we got the main event here, Uriah Faber and Scott Jorgensen. As you guys all know, I'm probably one of the biggest Uriah Faber fans as they come. He's fighting Scott Jorgensen. Scott Jorgensen coming off his win against John Elbert, and Uriah Faber coming off his win against Ivan Menjivar. Both first-round rear naked choke wins with the both fighters. And I see Uriah Faber really winning this fight wherever he wants. Scott Jorgensen, great wrestler, but I think Faber's just as good, if not better. Uriah Faber improving his striking with Dwayne Bay Ludwig at Team Alpha Male. And I believe Faber has better submissions than Scott Jorgensen. So I believe that Uriah Faber is going to win this fight again, second round submission. I don't know how he's going to win it. I'll probably say maybe guillotine choke or another rear naked choke. But I believe Uriah Faber dominates this fight and hopefully gets one step closer to fighting Dominic Cruz again when he comes back. Or I don't believe they'll give him another rematch with Renan Barão. But I believe they're definitely going to set up that trilogy belt with Dominic Cruz. Maybe one more win after when Faber beats Jorgensen, one more win. And then when Cruz gets back, hopefully they can set up the trilogy belt. Saad, how do you see this fight going down?
Well, let me just start off by saying that even if Cruz does come back, Barão's going to face him, and Barão's arguably going to beat him. So if there's a trilogy belt, there's not going to be a title on the line. Mm-hmm. Just FYI. But let's get to the fight. I don't see how Faber could possibly lose. That doesn't mean that Jorgensen is outclassed. Quite the opposite. Faber's just that good. He's so good in non-title fights that's pretty much a lock that he wins. His problem is that he loses when the actual title is there. And arguably, with an impressive win here, and if Cruz doesn't return anytime soon, he could get another crack at Barão. So, I disagree with you there. Mainly because there's nobody else at bantamweight for Barão to fight should he defeat Wineland, which I think he will. Jorgensen so far is 3-2 in the UFC. After snapping his 2-fight losing streak to Browne and Wineland, the two guys who are actually right now competing for the interim belt now. Jorgensen beat John Albert. He looks to keep his momentum going against Faber, but I think Faber's going to stop him right there. Although Jorgensen is a top 10 fighter for the aforementioned reasons, but Faber's unique quality to remain relevant despite not actually having 5 cracks at the title in the last couple of years in the WEC and the UFC. I just think Faber is going to win this fight just because he's that good. It's going to be an exciting fight regardless. It could go to a decision, but I'm going to pick a third-round guillotine.
Yeah, exactly. Faber is so good with that guillotine choke and all of his chokes. And I said, believe Uriah Faber is going to win this fight wherever he wants. I believe the wrestling, they kind of a stalemate in the wrestling. Jorgensen's a great wrestler. Faber's a great wrestler, but I believe the striking and submission edge goes to Uriah Faber. So there you guys have it. Do you have any final words to say, Saad, about the card?
It should be exciting. This April has just been so hectic. I'm so excited for every fight, every week. Next week we got UFC on Fox. You get Gil Melendez versus Benson Henderson. I'm so excited for that card. Then after that, you got John Jones and Chelsea on it.
Yeah.
I think we're getting spoiled this month, but you know what? I'll take it.
Exactly. MMA and UFC are just exploding nowadays, and the UFC put on some great shows. So there you have it, folks. When you're looking for good and in-depth UFC predictions, come no further than MMA Talk Canada. Boom.